Are we entering a new Cold War era? It's a question that looms large in the current geopolitical climate, with North Korea's relentless pursuit of nuclear power adding a complex layer to the global tension. Join me as we journey through the timeline of North Korea's nuclear development and the key events in what some are calling the new Cold War. The roots of North Korea's nuclear ambitions trace back to the Cold War. As the world divided along ideological lines, North Korea found itself in the communist bloc under the influence of the Soviet Union. It was the late 1950s when the Soviets began assisting North Korea in developing a nuclear program, a move that would have far-reaching implications. Soviet scientists and engineers set up shop in the Hermit Kingdom, sharing their knowledge and expertise. They helped construct the Yongbyon Nuclear Scientific Research Center, the heart of North Korea's nuclear program. Over the years, North Korea began to master the intricacies of nuclear science, gradually moving towards self-reliance in this field. Fast forward to the early 1990s, and the world began to grow suspicious of North Korea's nuclear activities. The International Atomic Energy Agency, the global watchdog for nuclear programs, sought to inspect North Korea's facilities. But Pyongyang resisted, raising alarm bells across the globe. The tension reached a boiling point in 2003 when North Korea made a move that shocked the world. It announced its withdrawal from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, an international agreement aimed at preventing the spread of nuclear weapons. This move marked a significant shift in North Korea's approach, signaling its intention to develop nuclear weapons unabashedly. North Korea's departure from the treaty was met with widespread international condemnation. Sanctions were imposed, diplomatic ties were strained, and the world found itself on the precipice of a nuclear crisis. Yet North Korea remained unfazed, determined to continue its pursuit of nuclear power. The world watched with bated breath as North Korea walked away from the International Nuclear Treaty. The stage was set for a geopolitical drama that continues to unfold to this day. Tensions on the Korean Peninsula had reached a new high, and the spectre of a new Cold War loomed large. The first decade of the 21st century saw North Korea making significant strides in its nuclear program. This era marked the commencement of a series of nuclear and missile tests that would catapult North Korea into the world's spotlight for years to come. It all began in 2006 when North Korea conducted its first nuclear test, a move that sent shockwaves around the globe. The world watched in trepidation as North Korea, a nation shrouded in secrecy, flexed its nuclear muscles for the first time. The test triggered a cascade of international reactions, with nations worldwide condemning the act as a flagrant violation of international law. Undeterred, North Korea pressed on. In the years that followed, the nation carried out a succession of nuclear tests, each more potent than the last. With each test, the tremors of unease reverberated further around the world, escalating international reactions. In response to North Korea's nuclear advancements, the United Nations Security Council levied a series of sanctions aimed at crippling the nation's nuclear ambitions. These measures targeted various aspects of the North Korean economy, from trade and investment to banking and travel. Yet despite these sanctions, North Korea's nuclear and missile development continued unabated. Alongside these sanctions, diplomatic efforts were employed in an attempt to quell the growing nuclear threat. Talks were held, agreements were made, and then broken. The international community found itself locked in a tense dance with North Korea, a dance that continues to this day. Despite international outcry and sanctions, North Korea forged ahead, demonstrating its nuclear capabilities. The road to nuclear power has been long and fraught with challenges, but the nation's determination has remained unflagging. North Korea's nuclear journey serves as a stark reminder of the lengths a nation will go to safeguard its sovereignty and command respect on the global stage. As North Korea showcased its nuclear prowess, the world was grappling with shifting geopolitical landscapes. The stakes were high, and the players were all too familiar. We saw the United States, China, and Russia, each with their vested interests, on the world stage once more. In this grand chessboard of international relations, every move, every decision echoes with consequences. The United States, the guardian of Western democracy, found itself locked in a deepening rivalry with China, a rising global power with aspirations to reshape the world order. This was not a simple case of economic competition. It was a clash of ideologies, a battle for influence mirroring the East-West tensions of the mid-20th century. Parallel to this, Russia, a key player from the original Cold War, re-emerged with renewed vigor. Its ambitions were clear: to regain its lost prestige and assert its presence in the global arena. The dynamics between these three major powers, their strategic interests and their evolving relationships, all contributed to a sense of déjà vu. We found ourselves asking, are we seeing the dawn of a new Cold War? A state of geopolitical tension and rivalry without direct military conflict, much like the original Cold War. The term New Cold War is not used lightly. It encapsulates the complexities of the current global situation, where the stakes are high and the outcomes uncertain. In this backdrop, North Korea's nuclear ambitions added a layer of complexity. It was not just a threat to regional stability, it was a wild card that could tip the balance of power. And so as the world watched, the tensions continued to rise. In this intricate dance of power, the question remains: are we on the brink of a new Cold War? Today, the geopolitical climate remains as complex and unpredictable as ever. North Korea, under the leadership of Kim Jong-un, continues to navigate the choppy waters of international politics. The country's pursuit of nuclear weapons and missile development has been a source of tension on the world stage, with the potential to drastically alter the balance of power. The situation in North Korea is not an isolated issue, but one that is deeply entangled in a web of global politics. The international community is not merely a spectator, but an active participant, with sanctions and diplomatic efforts shaping the course of events. The diplomatic dance between North Korea, South Korea and the United States has been a series of steps forward and back, a delicate balance of negotiation and power play. The question of North Korea's nuclear program is not the only concern. The shifting dynamics between major powers has led to murmurs of a new Cold War, a state of geopolitical tension and rivalry without direct military conflict. The United States and its allies on one side, and China and Russia on the other, are locked in an intricate game of chess, where economic competition and strategic interests are as important as military might. The world is in a state of flux, with old alliances being tested and new ones being formed. The uncertainty of the situation is a reminder of the unpredictability of international politics and the potential implications for global peace and security. The stakes are high, and the world is watching with bated breath, waiting for the next move. What will be the future of North Korea's nuclear program? How will the major powers respond? Will there be a new Cold War, or can we find a path towards peaceful coexistence? These are questions that remain unresolved, adding layers of complexity to the geopolitical landscape. As we look to the future, the world continues to watch and wait, aware that the actions of North Korea and the major powers could shape the course of history. We've journeyed through a complex timeline, ripe with tension and uncertainty. We've seen how North Korea, under the leadership of Kim Jong-un, has relentlessly pursued nuclear power and missile development. This pursuit, far from being a simple quest for technological advancement, has been a source of anxiety for the international community, resulting in increased scrutiny and sanctions. We've also delved into the diplomatic efforts that have been made, the talks, the negotiations, the promises made and broken. The tenuous relationships between North Korea and its southern counterpart, and between North Korea and the United States, have been a constant reminder of the complexity of the situation. Furthermore, we've pondered the idea of a new Cold War, a term that evokes a state of geopolitical tension and rivalry without direct military conflict. We've looked at the evolving relationships between major powers, the economic competition, the strategic interests. The United States and its allies on one side, China and Russia on the other, all engaged in a delicate dance of power and influence. In this ever-changing world, understanding our past and present is key to navigating our future. Remember, these narratives are not static. They are dynamic, changing with each passing day, with each new development. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.